What's up, guys? So, I think, the title for this video should make what we're talking about. It's a pretty obvious analysis for Pyra Mythra. So, my initial, look over of the character was that this character seems pretty simple overall. Kind of like a standard sortie with, the stance switching as the main, mechanic. But otherwise, there's a couple things to talk about, but no, particularly, interesting mechanics. And a kind of a lot of standard sorty things, like nice hitboxes. In fact, absurd hitboxes on Pyra. Okay frame data. Pyra's movement looked Mythra's looked absurd, of course. And obviously Pyra's strong. Mythra combo attacks. Yeah, we'll see. So at the bat, see the downer. This downer is just reverse Sephiroth up air. Honestly, it's so massive. I'm assuming there's gonna be a spike here. Kind of like Lucina, where it's sour spot, then spike, more sour spots. But it's so massive, and it comes out at a decent speed that, oh man, that's a problem. And, because it's a downer, it can be a really absurd landing hitbox, or even used as a neutral air almost. So that's really interesting. It gives you a little bit of a mix-up as well in that regard. And this is a sword character in Ultimate, it's gonna be safe, low landing lag. I actually noticed all the characters have some landing lag in the aerials, but not too much. Up tilt. I always like these kind of up tilts, where it's a nice arcing hitbox that doesn't come out both sides immediately, because you can use the back hitbox as a quick anti-air, or you can use the later hitbox as a show pressure tool, or combo starter. And once again, massive. It sends above as well, so you can go for follow-ups pretty easily, which, yeah, that's always scary when fighting a character with massive power hitboxes. I think this is forward tilt, it could be wrong. That or it's a dash attack, and it was done as a very quick instant dash attack. I honestly can't say for sure which one it was. All I know is it's a massive hitbox, and something worth mentioning is that it does at least decent damage, because even though the Belmont's dash attack doesn't do much damage for the multi-hits, you see it clanks and then punches through, so tramples the attack. But it's just that tramples out prioritizes the attack, because there's enough damage to break through it, so you're looking at a decently powerful move damage-wise regardless, and the knockback looked pretty solid. With this said, it was not the fastest attack. So, and there's something worth mentioning is that a lot of Pyra's attacks in particular, because of the flame effect, along with not being fast in the first place, I think you can very easily react to them. And okay, you're doing this move, for sure. Just, block it, avoid it, whatever. If you're playing offline, carry it. This was forward air. Pretty standard big sword hitbox. That is just oh god, I don't want to deal with this. And then, when I saw this, I was just oh no. Oh no. I'm not sure if there's any special mechanic going on here. You can buff up your smashes at all. Or if it's just a ridiculous, damage output, kill power, knockback, massive hitbox, moderate speed, forward smash. That might cover a buffer. I'm not sure if that's a visual effect or an actual hitbox effect. I won't be surprised if, this is all a hitbox. And in that case. And the fact that she lunges forward during it means there's even more range than you'd think visually. Because, that giant step forward, right? Is absurd. So, it's gonna be one of those things where I think people are gonna really get caught off guard by this move when this character comes out. I know this has a decent amount of end lag, honestly, because it looks like she's still stuck in this animation. And you can't see the end of it. But it might be one of those things where it's you can punish that pretty easily. It's just high commitment, but high reward. I also won't be surprised if this character just has a short break set up somehow. Because, just something about this character makes me think, okay, powerful sword hitbox is massive. If one of these attacks ends up being absurdly good for hurting shields, it won't surprise me. Including potentially just forward smash. And then you see it again here. It's just showcasing it, it's a powerful move. I actually wonder if there's going to be a sweet spot as well, because if you look at the trail on all these attacks, you notice that there is this, right? There's a bright yellow and then orange and then a red at the tip. So I don't know for sure. It also looks like kind of the red like at the tip is like going past the sword. So it might be like a fire effect that's kind of like a sour spot almost. Or like, I shouldn't say that because it looks pretty powerful, but like a not sweet spot. And then like on the sword itself, where there's kind of like an orange or yellow effect, it might be a sweet spot, right? Because they show like the move twice back to back. So it's like, okay, good knockback. Oh, by the way, now lightning on the sword. So yeah, that's very much a possibility, which is one way to balance out massive sword boxes, is make the outer ones not nearly as powerful. I was looking at this move and I was like, alright, this is a great like option coverage move. For ledge trapping, use it kind of like tune like up B where it looks like you can charge it. And it probably gets more powerful as you charge it. I also really like how they have like this little like star effect going on for a lot of attacks with the sword, which matches the stars on Pyra's outfit, like her back, her chest. And I think it's very interesting. But yeah. So you use this for, like ledge trapping tool, you use this to cover like spot dodges rolls, you put someone in a tech chase situation. If you can chase them fast enough, which I'm not sure if Pyra can, but like you can like cover multiple options, especially if they get tech chased into the corner. You can cover like tech away, miss tech, tech in place, and tech roll. And it looks like it's decent knockback. Hard to judge knockback, obviously, but they're very clearly showing like, hey, this character hits really hard. And then this up, you look bad. Assuming you have to commit to the second part of this, which it didn't really look like there's like any like transition where it's like you can choose not to commit to this. I could be wrong though. It looks like me swords up B, which is like a really good ass shield option, to be fair, but not so much of a good like recovery tool, especially if you have to fly down like this. And like you're not going to use like this second part as like a neutral tool or anything. It's gonna be so reactable. Also, one thing I'm not sure about, it's hard to really tell. I wonder if this trail is 30 or 60 FPS. Because I've been kind of like mentally counting frames, like, okay, downer comes out like frame 7-ish, or it looks like. But if it's 30 FPS, it means you have to double it. Because I realized this looks a little bit too fast, but cinematic. Yeah, so, yeah, it looks pretty. But assuming she has to commit to this part of the FB, that's gonna be bad. Which, you know, sword characters, most of them tend to have poor recoveries to balance out otherwise just absurd neutrals. So yeah. So I thought this was interesting because at first I was like, oh, it's a laggy projectile. Yeah. And then I saw like it's still pretty laggy. You can definitely jump over and punish it. And I'm assuming the sword stops at set distance and spins, or it stops if it hits the opponent. Or it might hit the opponent and carry them to a set distance and then stop. But like she's still sucking up my Ven lag, so she can't really chase that easily. And I don't think she can combo off of this because, assuming it always stops at set distance, her actual movement speed kind of sucks. If you look at her walk, it's hard to judge for sure. But then her jump doesn't set like it's a full hop. And it's hard to judge because cinematic angles, but it doesn't look like it sends her that far nor that fast. And it looks like a pretty high full hop too. So it's like her airspeed looks pretty bad overall. And then her fall speed. Look, I thought this was interesting though how she catches a sword. So like, this is the one thing where I know I said I don't think this character has many interesting mechanics probably. But then I saw this and it's like, I wonder if this special moves without the sword. Or wonder if you have to grab the sword to attack again. Or like how it's going to work. I imagine she'll just have the same moves as before without the sword. So it'd be kind of like bad, so he has to get this. I also imagine though that the sword teleports back to her if she doesn't like pick it up right away. And I still expect basically swordless to be like a particularly like important mechanic for her. And I think it's more just like an effect for the side B. With that said, the side B itself is a pretty massive lingering hitbox that's going to cover a lot of things and be one of those like kind of annoying tools where it's like, oh, I'm being ledge trapped, oh, my landing's being caught, oh, I'm being juggled by this. And like one of those things where it's like, even though you can't follow up off of it because she's kind of slow and the move's kind of laggy. Space control. Space control is always nice. Sword characters excel at that. Back air. This almost definitely spikes, which is why it's setting Mewtwo upwards so much like this. The fact that spinning though is weird. So it's like a spiking back air that also has a lingering hitbox. And it wasn't that big to be fair. But like, that's one of those things where it's like, you might be able to edge guard. You can do so many things with a hitbox that lingers. Especially if it has like a sweet spot at the beginning and then a lingering hitbox. Because you can like look at the hit like the sweet spot and if you miss it, still be kind of safe because of the lingering hitbox. And this is, I think this is the down air. This might be the nair to be honest, but I think it's the down air. Yes, that's it. You know, Pyra, nothing too crazy, I'd say. But like, interesting. And then Mythra. And I was thinking with Pyra Mythra, I feel like you have like a Mimic situation potentially where it's like you use Pyra for like certain percents and maybe low percents for like combos when your strong moves can set up combos. And you switch to Mythra at like mid percents for like combos then, and then make the Pyra kill percents. So that might happen because you kind of use the same thing with like Mimic where it's kind of like Megawatt for me at low percents, Rammer at mid percents, Megawatt again at high percents. And then Mythra. So her hitboxes are definitely smaller. I don't think she has like any special effect with her sword like that increases her hitboxes like Mythra's fire. I do wonder if once again, you know, you might have like a sweet spot thing where it's like green might be like a sour spot, yellow might be a sweet spot. But the trails aren't like as noticeably diverse. Also, you notice that like they share the same normals, just different properties on them. So like, you know, less knockback, you can combo off of it. The specials are different. I noticed she had multiple charge specials. My guess is this is gonna be one of those things where it doesn't do this full attack if you block it, but on hit it does this. Because otherwise, I can only imagine blocking the first part and being stuck in like these 5-hit chains. Like I said, shield breaks, pokes, or whatever. And I'm not sure how useful these kind of attacks are gonna be. Hard to say, because like obviously if you caught by this, you got played. It depends if you can cancel out of this or not. If you can't cancel out of this, like with a shield and a jump or whatever, ooh. But if you can, that's gonna be potentially a decent option. But I'm still not sold on it. It looks cool as hell though. This is aesthetically, it's sick. And also, of course, you know, even Pyra's hitboxes, Mythra's hitboxes don't look as big as Pyra's. They're still pretty big. This move, kind of same thing as Noosh Move, I think, on block or like on whiff, it's not gonna do this full animation. Because I can set up some really like cheap like shield pokes, punchy shield breaks, whatever. But like, I don't know, I could be wrong. With that said, I imagine it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the move itself, it looks like a fast move that kind of like low profiles things, because like a dash, maybe even iframes to be honest, thinking about it. However, it also isn't the best hitbox, it's like a body's hitbox and not the sword itself. And yeah, I'm wondering how laggy the move's gonna be when it doesn't connect. It looks so cool though. And then, this is weird. At first this looked really good to me, and then I noticed though she goes into free fall afterwards. And I think she has to commit to this. So kind of like Pyra where it's like, you shouldn't hit someone with this really. And it's super punishable, and it's not a great recovery tool. The fact that she's not like immediately like flying down though is nice, because she can probably drift during free fall. So it's probably a bit better than Pyra's for recovery. But still, as recovery. And you're not going to use this as like a zoning projectile much, really. Then again, I've used Kirby's up B as a zoning projectile all the time, so I could be wrong there. Oh, so you notice when she like moves, like here, jumps, her jump, she jumps so fast and like so far. And like her fall speed looks pretty high compared to Pyra's. But she still looks like she goes a little bit farther like out of like a full hop than Pyra does. So like they really emphasize like she's much faster. And then the fact that they made a whole ass CG trailer out of this move, the foresight makes me go, oh, that's gonna be maybe a key part of gameplay, maybe busted. And then I notice here that this is almost definitely her role. So she is like a bayonet bats within type role. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the entire thing or just the startup of it. But like, in Ultimate, rolling is really obnoxious, where it's kind of like, hey, you know, I'm in the corner, I'm just going to roll and hope you don't read it, because then you get out of the situation for free. And it's like, you always have to kind of keep roll in mind as an option for the opponent, because it's so good. And having this type of thing attached to roll is even better. With that said, I know for Bayo, what they did for balancing is that they made her spot dodges and rolls come out like frame 5 or 6, something slower than average. So you can easily grab her out of them. Well, okay, let me rephrase. So they made like the bats within and stuff come out really fast out of the rolls. But they made it so you can grab her out of the rolls until like frame 5 or 6. Same with the spot dodge. And basically just Bayo has a lot worse time dealing with grabs as a result. So I wonder if they could do the same thing for balancing here to like make it so, alright, this might be really fast as like a crazy reversal option slows the opponent down. But instead, if you go for a grab, she can't quite avoid it that well. There's a possibility. Regardless, since it's the roll, it looks like he uses to punish very laggy moves. But I think very fast moves won't quite get punished because he's so committed to the full roll here. And like, it's not too laggy. I'm wondering if there's less lag when you do this as well. Like, you can get punished here, but this is like a down tilt, for example. I doubt you're slowing Wolf down enough to punish him. Because like this down smash almost hits her still. Like, I'm not sure if she actually has time to attack with anything besides like a jab maybe after the roll. It's hard to say. Also, the switch, I don't know if there's gonna be iframes on it instantly or whatever. Obviously there's iframes for sure. But like, for example, Pokemon Trainer Switch is frame 1 iframes, so it's kind of busted. But this looked like frame 6 or so, and this could be, you know, 30 FPS footage, I don't know. So it could be slower than that. And then you definitely have some lag after you switch before you can do something. It's not much, but it's enough that you're not gonna do things like comboing off the switch. Or comboing like doing attack and then switching mid-combo to finish. You're gonna use this more so like set positioning, like, alright, run somewhere with Mythra because she's fast, then switch to Pyra like for an edge guard, for example, to abuse powerful hitboxes that big. Or like maybe like switch like on a platform to like Mythra to like jump around like back to neutral. And I think it's one of those things where you have room to work with. You're gonna use a lot of switching and like to kind of move around. More so like move with Mythra and then like attack with Pyra. And I think it's gonna be really cool to kind of manage that. But I also mentioned that I might just have the possibility of like you choose character based on combos at percents. And honestly, it could also be a situation where it's like both characters are just kind of viable by themselves and you pick whoever you want. Although I was looking at Mythra's attacks and noticing a lot of them set up combos, like the up tilt, for example, some aerials. I'm like, alright, I think you almost definitely use Mythra like for comboing and then switch to Pyra for killing. Down smash. Nothing too notable here. Look kind of laggy. But, yeah. The fact that you can move while switching, though, is pretty cool. Because it looks like while you're switching, you keep your momentum. So, I like how they show here you can use it as, like, a retool where it's like you kind of, like, switch, like, mid-movement and, like, punish something. And I think that's pretty sick. Because it lets you not slow down the pace of the game while you're switching. Which, especially if the switch is a bit more laggy and less, more startup than, like, say, PT. It's nice to not be losing all your momentum to kind of compensate for it. With that said, the fact that there's only 2 characters to switch between and not, like, 3, means you have a lot more control over who you want to play at any moment. Whereas PT, you know, PT players definitely be stuck in situations like their Charizard, but they want to switch to Squirtle, but they can't quite do that. So it's just there's lag on the switching. Now, I don't know if there's going to be lag on the switching for these characters, but yeah. Up air. The up air just looks like a Lucina up air, I think. Yeah. And I think that was up smash right there. It looked like the up smash actually like lingers. Like she kind of like does up smash, and then you notice how like it's hard to see, but she kind of like spins the sword. We saw something similar with Pyra's back air, where she like does the attack and then the sword spins. So I'm not sure if it's a hitbox or not, but assuming it is, that's really useful as anti-air. Although her up tilt seems absurd. Not absurd, but like good as an anti-air. Very, very functional with that. So yeah. Cool looking character. Definitely excited to see, you know, when they come out with their, like, I think it's March, so pretty soon, you know, we could honestly have the character in like a week and a half or so, 2 weeks. Yeah, like 2 weeks. Or you have him as late as like in a month and 2 weeks. So we'll see. But yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those characters that's not too complex. It'll be a nice pick up and play character. And that's just my, you know, how long was this analysis? Let's see. That's my almost 20-minute analysis on like 3 minutes of gameplay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do. If you're watching this channel, you know exactly how I work. Alright, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the breakdown from what I could tell. And peace out, y'all.